Hello and welcome to the C-Suite Hot Seat. My name is Saf Malik, with Senior Reporter at Capacity Media. This is the monthly podcast from the Capacity editorial team featuring exclusive interviews with C-Suite executives from across the wider tech, telecoms and ICT landscape. Join us as we talk all things technology, infrastructure, finance and strategy. I'm joined today by Don MacNeil, Chief Revenue Officer at EdgeConneX. Don, thank you for joining us today.
Seth, thanks for having me.
Don, talk to us about your first 8 months at the company and how you've settled into the role at EdgeConneX.
Well, first and foremost, you may recall I was here some years ago in the very beginning, and rejoining, three areas really have delighted me with regard to coming back. First and foremost has just been the expansion globally with regard to our edge footprint, as well as a more meaningful progress in the hyperscale suite. So we're pretty excited about that. Secondly, I was really pleased to see just the investment we've made organizationally and commitment we've made to environmental health and safety. As you can imagine, with regard to just the expansive footprint we have now, and being able to make sure that we are developing and operating data centers in an environmentally conscious and as well as in a safe manner through the day-to-day operations, but equally through the construction and build out. And then finally, our commitment to sustainability. We have our guiding principles at EdgeConneX, our customers, our people, and the planet. And I think our commitment to sustainability, just as EdgeConneX proper, but then equally our global expansion has allowed us to formulate really key joint venture partners with Adani Connects, Chiora in China, and then Aboitiz in the Philippines. So equally committed as part of our JV to the sustainability aspects of the business. So all in all, it's been a great 8 months. I've been well received and welcomed, and a lot of old faces, but at the same time, a lot of new talent, especially on the younger front with regard to, new up and coming talent. So very, very excited to be here. And it's overall been a great experience.
That's great to hear, Don. And kind of off the back of that, what are the high growth regions and where's demand coming from? What kind of deployments are you guys looking at?
Yeah, I mean, for us, obviously just because of the size of the hyperscale deployments, we're seeing great growth, continue to see great growth as we have from the very outset in the hyperscale in Europe, but now equally in Asia Pac, specifically in our initial deployments in India with Adani Connects, and as well in our first data center build out in Jakarta. So really Asia Pac and EMEA have been very, very exciting with regard to the hyperscale. And then back also our roots, if you will, with regard to edge deployments. We've continued to expand and build out our initial edge deployments in the US and also now equally in South America. So different growth in different parts of the world for us, but certainly a lot of it fueled by the demand we're all familiar with in the market on the hyperscale side.
And I know you kind of spoke about sustainability a little bit in your first answer there. Can you just expand a bit on what EdgeConneX is doing around sustainability?
So we have obviously, just the recognition and the importance, I think, is like the solution any problem is first and foremost. But then, as I mentioned, most notably with our JV partners in Asia Pacific, whether it's the wind, solar, and in the case of Aboitiz, even hydroelectric, we have very strong commitments to the sources of power. And then from an innovation standpoint, we've started to do some internal development with regard to understanding the sources, if you will, from the grid, and looking at ways to be able to share that with our customers. So, for example, we put a case study out in Houston where we were able to quantify, if you will, the sources of whether it's wind, solar, and then maybe gas or coal, if you will, from the generation plant, but then being able to share that information across with customers so that they can maybe manage their workloads consistent with the sources that are available on the grid. So a simple example would be if the wind is not blowing that day and there's a fairly high proportion of wind power on the grid or supporting the grid to the data center, then maybe our customers can make an informed decision to push those workloads a day or two when perhaps the wind comes back, and then the blend, if you will, of the renewable and energy sources is more prevalent and more available. So, a lot of different things on the front, but I think first and foremost is our commitment to sustainability.
And thanks for talking about that use case. I feel like sustainability use case is really important. Don, what we like doing on the C-Suite Hot Seat is kind of breaking up the interview a little bit. So the first of our hot seat questions is give us 3 words to describe the current state of the industry.
Yeah, I mean, certainly dynamic. I think also at the same time, I'd add to that fun and exciting. Right now, we find ourselves squarely in the midst of just not only the cloud adoption, the digital transformation, and the hyperscale growth, and along comes our artificial intelligence and the impact it's going to have on the data center industry immediately, and then in a more long period of time. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great place to be right now.
Yes, the industry is fast moving as ever. So what is your favorite and least favorite part about this job? And you can be as honest as you like.
I think certainly the fun part is just being in front of customers and being a part of the solution with regard to, whether it's their deployments for the cloud or now up and coming with the artificial intelligence. But, being part of the solution, being part of the conversation, if you will, out in front of customers is definitely the fun part. The least fun part is I'd call it a combination of administrivia, whether it's, the reports, the personnel management, the more mundane things. But the good news is, for me, at least right now, the fun definitely outweighs the mundane, if you will.
And then finally, from our hot seat questions, what is one thing that inspires you?
Well, for me, it's really been the return to EdgeConneX and just to see the continued can-do spirit. As companies get more and more mature, you always hope that you don't lose that initial fighting spirit, if you will, or that innovation. And the good news for me, or the inspiration, if you will, has really been the fact that EdgeConneX continues to have the fire in the belly and that really can-do spirit. So that's been really energizing and inspiring for me.
And Don, just on a personal level, we know that you are a Navy veteran. Talk to us a little bit about your time there and what you're now doing to help your fellow vets.
Yeah, I mean, to say it's formed me is an understatement. I went to the Naval Academy right out of high school at the age of 17, and through a combination of active duty and my reserve time, I've been a part of the Navy for 27 years. So it really has done a lot to formulate my thinking, my view of things, and really kind of the operational mindset. And one of the takeaways for me has really been and continues to be the importance of people. In the military, you deal with very, very sophisticated technology and equipment, and most importantly, very key missions at times. So, all of that for naught if you don't have the right people, the right culture, and the right environment to properly operate it. So people, continue to be a very important thing for me. And I think we see it here at EdgeConneX and in the industry. Number 2 really has been just the importance of the care and feeding of those people, the leadership, making sure that people are properly resourced with time, with materials, with tools, and most importantly, with training. And again, I think one of the bright spots for me coming back to EdgeConneX has been not only in our joint ventures with Adani, for example. We not only are there financially, collectively together, but on a quarterly basis, new hires from Adani are part of our training curriculum in Amsterdam, and we're able to bring them to our pride and joy, if you will, our world-class data center in Amsterdam, and spend a week and cover a variety of topics about operations, environmental health and safety, and construction best practices. So it's great to see the investment, that leadership, if you will, in proper resourcing for those people. And then finally, I think, again, something that has served me well is just is integrity. The importance of recognizing and realizing things don't go perfect every day, but whether it's just the internal integrity to own up to mistakes or forecast and see mistakes, both internally and with our customers, again, I think is alive and well for us here at EdgeConneX. And again, it's something that has served me well during my time in all my years in the Navy.
That's awesome to hear, Don. And finally, for me, what are your thoughts on the market as a whole, and what do you aim to achieve with EdgeConneX in the next year or so?
Yeah, as I said, it's just you couldn't have picked a better time to join, at least for me personally. But just the excitement around all of the drivers with regard to digital transformation, and now the introduction and the expansion of artificial intelligence. So, the foreseeable future is certainly exciting, and I think one of the challenges for us that we're putting a lot of focus on internally is, candidly, with all of this change and all of this growth, I think being able to work with our customers and to some degree anticipate their needs, but at the same time collaborate on their needs with regard to flexibility. So as you can imagine, data centers were built with certain levels of power density, and everything we have known about that is now being thrown out the window and projected to increase significantly. So for us, really understanding how we can transition with our customers, and I think the delicate balance is to not get too far ahead and render some of their deployment decisions and deployment configurations useless, but more importantly, do it in a thoughtful way so that we're all somewhat in lockstep as the next chapter driven by artificial intelligence and continued cloud scaling comes to the market. So again, a lot to do, but a very fun and exciting time.
Don, thanks so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned to www.capacitymedia.com for the latest news, features, and appointments. And you can follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter at Capacity Media.